Going into the fight, it was everything was great, you know. And then tonight, when you get in there, all the work's been done. Then it's up to the fighters to get in there and deliver the rest of the deal.
Overall, how would you say this guy delivered?
It was good, you know. Obviously, the last 4 cards we've had have been, you know, just off the charts, crazy fights. And believe me, I'd love to keep the streak alive and keep them going. But you're never going to have just a whole 3 months of just, you know, people just going, holy shit, did that just happen? That's crazy, you know. But tonight, listen, the thing about tonight that blew me away, and you know, I just got the feeling. I've got the funny feeling he's not going to get the credit this kid deserves. This kid just beat the shit out of BJ Penn for 5 rounds. Dominated him in every facet of the fight. You know, on the ground, on top, on bottom, stand up, everything. You know, it's one thing to say, you know, Hawani was just saying to me, you know, the people are going to say he didn't do it as exciting as this and that. Dude, he just fucking beat the shit out of BJ Penn. It's not like he just fought some regular guy. He just dominated BJ Penn for 5 rounds, and the kid's probably 145 pounds, not 155. You know what I mean? He's tiny. Kid's got a heart as big as this fucking room, man. He's unbelievable. And the other thing, he comes from wrestling. His boxing is unbelievable. His jiu-jitsu is great tonight. His wrestling was sick. How about he picks BJ up, down, and just power fucking slams him. Then kicks his foot out from underneath him hard. BJ went down hard there. I guarantee you right now, BJ Penn is banged up right now. He took some huge body shots, big kicks to the body, big right hands, big left hooks. Give the fucking kid his credit, man.
Can you put your finger on why people aren't respecting him? Do you get that?
I don't get it, man. I think what happens is I think every new up-and-coming guy goes through this thing like when Chuck first got beat. I hate the guy that beat Chuck. You know what I mean? Because Chuck's been around for a long time, and now, you know, this is the guy. This guy beat BJ Penn 2 times in a row, back to back. And all of us know, you know, say what you want about BJ. When he loses that first fight to somebody, he comes back strong the second time. And BJ was talking the talk leading up to this fight. He says, I'm going to show you guys. I've never wanted to dominate somebody as bad as I do this kid. So it's not like he didn't want it. He wasn't hungry. He wasn't focused. He was sidetracked. Frankie Edgar beat a really good, really motivated BJ Penn tonight.
So do you think Frankie? What did you think about Gray?
I think Gray looked good too, man. Gray went out, and I hate to say this because I don't want to take anything away from Gray, but I just think Kenny's just one of those guys that chokes in big fights. I love Kenny. I'm not bad-mouthing him or trying to disrespect him. I'm just being honest. You know, every time it's a big fight and there's a lot of things on the line, Kenny Florian's hands are unbelievable. Kenny Florian's ground is unbelievable. Kenny Florian usually kicks you to the body and the legs so hard that he busts guys up. You didn't see any of that tonight. He stood there and stared at Gray Maynard for 3 rounds.
What about Frank?
Even in the 3rd round? You'd think his corner would say, dude, you just lost the first 2 rounds. No sense of urgency whatsoever in the 3rd round. He's not going in there saying, I need a knockout or a submission in this round. None of it. Nothing. You know? Now I guarantee you, Kenny comes back and fights one of the mid-level guys, he'll run through him like a fucking freight train. You know? But the big fights, he crumbles, man.
Smart fight by Gray. I mean, he was patient. Didn't, you know, caught some boos, obviously, maybe because he was a hometown guy. But.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but right in the beginning, you know, 3 minutes into the 1st round when they finally fucking did something, Kenny Florian threw a punch at Gray Maynard, and you saw it around his eye the entire fight, just from the first punch. But Kenny Florian did not let his hands go tonight, did not use his legs, did not try to wrestle, did not try to do anything.
Do you think Frankie will get his credit now? I mean, obviously he has it from you, but do you think the rest of the world will give it to him?
I don't know how you don't. You got to be a complete jackass not to give Frankie Edgar his credit after what he did tonight here. You know, I thought it was a masterpiece, man. He looked unbelievable. He looked unbelievable. And you know, think about BJ Penn throughout his entire career. You know, this is a guy who George St. Pierre hammered for 5 rounds, and the fight's over. The kid doesn't have any marks on his face. Matt Hughes had him in that iron cross and smashing him. The guy's got no marks on his face. Frankie Edgar was hitting him with big right hands, nasty body shots, big kicks to the body. I remember when he showed the replay, when he kicks BJ's foot out from under him, BJ hit the ground hard, man. And when you're not expecting to hit the ground that hard and that high, That stuff hurts, man. I guarantee you, he's not feeling too good today.
BJ's kind of always had an air of kind of like invincibility to him. You know what I mean? He's kind of had that aura around him, and maybe that's why the people didn't, kind of give Frankie the respect the first time because it was such a close fight. But how much does that mean to Frankie, and what does that do to BJ? Because this is 2 times in a row. This is supposed to be his division. He was supposed to be the best ever, and now he's lost twice.
Yep. Here's the other thing too. How about all the talk, BJ? You're fighting BJ Penn, man. You've seen what he's done to people and stuff, and he says you didn't beat me. I was sick. First of all, I was sick, okay? You didn't beat me, and now I'm going to come out, and I don't even care about the belt. All I want to do is punish you. I'm going to beat you down. I'm going to do this and that. Frankie Edgar wasn't afraid of him at all. From the second the bell rang to the last bell, he went right after BJ was in his face and took it to him, And, the guy from, everybody laughed at the guy from Brazil when he asked the question. BJ looked sad. BJ looked like he broke in like the second round of that fight. He broke and was like, what am I doing here?
Can BJ, obviously he's a great fighter. What does he have to do to recover from this? This is pretty devastating because, like I said, this was supposed to be his, when he dropped back down, this was supposed to be his weight class.
I agree, man. And you know what? Who knows? We'll see where it goes from here. But it's true. I agree with you 100%.
The Braves fight and a lot of the earlier fights, you have crowds often have in your city. You have it too where 30 seconds after a takedown, you have guys in the crowd yelling, "Stand him up, stand him up." What do you say to fans like that?
Well, here's the thing. We've experienced that everywhere we've gone. You're going to have the people that do that. The crazy thing for me tonight was Nate Diaz and Marcus Davis. Like in the first round, there'll be second, people start going, boo. Dude, you're drunk. If you're booing during this fucking fight, you have drank way too much this evening. So.
What about Dan Miller's win? How big was that for him?
No, that was great. Yeah, it was a big win for him. He's a great kid. I love that kid. He's tough. Every time that kid fights, he brings it, man. He really brings it. Lozon looked nasty tonight.
When do you think you'll hear from James Toney again?
I don't know. Listen, in no way, shape, or form did I want to come off, tonight in this press conference or whatever, like I don't have any respect for James Toney, because I do. I respect him. I love the sport of boxing, and I thought we answered this question in 1993, but James came out, and the way I tell you is he picked a fight, and I kind of have my finger on the pulse of things. I thought people were interested and wanted to see this fight, so I made it, and I built a good card around it. So now we answered the question again in 2010. I don't think it needs to be answered again, no matter who it is. If it's Mayweather or anybody else, which I don't see them ever doing that, coming out and whatever. James Toney's the guy who's crazy enough to come out and do this, He picked a fight, he got one, and, we won't be doing any more boxing matches. Good? Thank you guys so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, Dave. Okay, Mike.